Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. We're here with return guest Aleric Heck from AdOutreach.com. Aleric is a YouTube ads expert. He's the founder of AdOutreach, and for the last 7 years, Aleric has taught thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners how to grow and scale their business using laser-targeted YouTube ads. So we're going to find out today about AI ad targeting software, omnipresence, and so much more. So, Aleric, glad to have you back.
Thanks so much for having me on, Robert. It's exciting to be back.
I'm excited to see what you have accomplished. I can't even follow it all. You talk about like Inc. magazine rankings and all kinds of like numbers of employees and income goals, but yet you're like humbled and likable too. And you and Newton Zhang from your mastermind, I see both of you like all the time. You're up to so much crazy stuff. So like, what's your secret? Like there's some people that they kind of get to a certain level, they're at a certain pace, and there's people like you that just keep on growing and expanding. Like, how do we tap into that energy?
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I think for me, it's really just getting connected with, there's two sides. There's the tactical side, right? And being omnipresent, growing, really dialing in your marketing, your systems, having a great operator too. So I'm the face. People see me, really marketing, going out there, but I also have an amazing team behind me. Got an amazing COO, Julia, on my team. Got a great team that really builds everything up. So I can't take full credit for all of that. So there's the tactical and that side of it, and also the innovation. We'll talk about, I released my AI software. We've been, growing the company fast, growing the software fast, that, really empowers AI ad targeting with YouTube ads. We'll talk a little bit about that. But there's also the deeper connection too, which is really connecting with the reason why you're doing things. And for me, what gives me rocket fuel, I've got this like rocket behind me, or rocket poster behind me, but what gives me rocket fuel is just connecting with the impact that we can create for clients and the ripple effect that we can have. So, and I think a lot of people, obviously we're talking about marketing, and what I love about marketing is you have a special power, right? It's a superpower of being able to connect businesses, entrepreneurs, people who have something unique to share, a service, a product, something of value, with the ideal clients who are looking for that value that their lives or businesses can benefit from. And then we're connecting the two. And that creates really positive ripple effects. So when we go out and we help a business owner, let's take, for instance, we've got one of our clients, Jared Ernie, that goes and helps local businesses with their Google profiles, right? The Google review profiles. When we help him reach his ideal clients, then he's going and helping local businesses that they have their own employees, they have their own teams. And that just creates a really positive ripple effect. And I've had this conversation with a variety of marketers. We have a superpower and we have a gift. And when we use that gift for good, we don't even get to see the impact of all of what our marketing is able to do, especially when we're working with clients. And so that's something that really lights me up, gets me excited. And then on the tactical side, having a great team, having a great strategy, having great marketing strategies, practicing what we preach, all those are things that helped us grow.
Amazing. Those are two great ideas to think about. That idea of having your team, having the operations, having the tactics to do those things, and then seeking that passion, which comes in the form of, people talk about like, think about the people. But you're saying, think about the people and your clients, but then also the clients that they help. And then by helping those clients, then they help other customers. And then there's just like this whole, like you said, the ripple effect. And so tell me about this AI tool. Like, I think even when we last spoke, there was a little bit of a discussion about how like YouTube, they have their own kind of built-in AI, and they like to kind of be more of like, set the ads, give us the money, let us figure it out. But then we all know, like, we all want to have that extra advantage, right? And there's so many tools nowadays, it's hard to even keep track of what exists and what we can use to get a leg up from the competition on our YouTube ads. So what is this AI tool that you have for YouTube, and how does it work? What does it do? Why does it give us this huge advantage?
Yeah, so I'll talk about what it does now, and then I'll give you kind of the backstory from when we last spoke. So what it does is keyword search, and it's keywordsearch.com. It's our AI audience building tool for YouTube and Google ads. And so all you need to do is just describe your business, put a URL of your website, put in a few details about your business, click generate. It'll take you less than a minute to fill out all those details, really 30 seconds. Click generate, and in seconds, you will have a complete set of audience targeting options for your YouTube ads with all the different types of audience-based keywords, Google intent keywords, URL keywords, and more. All of it is displayed. And all you have to do is select which ones you want. And then you can sync them directly to Google Ads in just one click. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of what it looks like. I see you're pulling up the keyword search site. You can see here, this is the AI audience builder. And if you go forward just a little bit in that video, you'll be able to see how it actually works. So you just describe, so see keyword search, keywordsearch.com, here's what it does. Keyword search helps businesses target with YouTube ads. And what this allows you to do is it'll give you all of the different keywords that you could target in terms of interests. Now, these interests, these are actually allowing you to go in and reach people that Google knows is interested in advertising, online advertising, YouTube creators, Google ad users, and then you can sync those to Google Ads. But then it also gives you related Google search terms that are all categorized. So you can see here, AI marketing. So it took that one line of text, it read your entire website, and it is now giving you all of this information for what to target with your YouTube ads in what are called audience segments on YouTube. Since we last spoke, YouTube's really shifted from keyword-based targeting and content targeting, maybe placements in front of videos. It's shifted over to audience-based targeting. We'd actually talked about that 3 years ago. We were on the cutting edge. We were talking about how that shift was happening. So you heard it here first. That's why you got to listen, right, to Marketer of the Day. Like this is where you're going to hear it first. But today, what Google has done is they've shifted over, and now it's all audience segment targeting, and this will show you how to build the audience segments. And if you scroll forward just even a little bit more, it'll actually show you, you also have not only all these different keywords that you can sync, and those will sync them to Google Ads, but you also have URLs and also different YouTube channels and apps, and you can essentially sync all of those directly to your YouTube ads. And that is how our keyword search works. Yeah, I think it's right around there. So you can see it'll sync it as a full custom segment. You just click sync to Google Ads, and it'll show up inside of Google. So we ran a study. We've had over 15,000 users already sign up for keyword search. We're used by big name, companies. And we ran a study. The average time it takes, but before I give you this number, in the past to research and do, audience targeting for ads or ad platforms to actually build out a audience campaign based on, all right, here are all the different keywords people might be searching for. That could take hours of research in the past. With keyword search, we ran a study. The average time to go from a search to a synced audience in Google Ads ready to run is 2.6 minutes. So
amazing.
That's what the tool does.
You're onto something super cool here. And
thank you.
And I think that this is always, like, I know you worked with like some of these big companies and people with these huge YouTube channels already, but it seems like from any size or any amount, there's always this problem of just saying like, well, I need to like make another YouTube video, or how do I be consistent? Or you see some of these channels where like they put out something new every day and there's like 50,000 views within a day or two. And all these videos are always like incredible and they have like good ideas and the keywords are filled in, and it somehow seems to be like exactly the right length too. Like as soon as I'm kind of getting bored with the video, then they're done and I'm off. Now I want to watch the next one. And so like, what do you think there's like the haves and the have-nots, right? There's people that they don't know what they're doing with YouTube and those that really have it dialed in. So what are some of those like success factors? What are the people who are really crushing it, killing it with YouTube? What are they doing correctly?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good question. I think there's two different things two ways to answer that. There's the YouTube channel side, right? And so what are they doing on the channel side to be able to grow, see that success? Then there's also the ads. I'll answer the ad side quickly, and then I'll talk about the channel, which I know you asked about as well, people posting different videos. And I agree, you could be of any size. You don't have to be a big company to be able to see success, whether it be with YouTube ads or with a YouTube channel. In terms of ads, it really is making sure that you have the right ad in front of the right person at the right time. And the way to do that is the right ad. You want to have a hook, draws people in, educate, you provide real value in the ad, and they have a clear and concise call to action to get them to take action. Now, that's kind of a recap. If you want the more in-depth, the ad side of things hasn't changed since the last episode we did. I think it's episode 752. So you can go back into the archives and listen if you want more in-depth on that. But once you have that particular video, the next step is targeting in front of the right people. And that's where a tool like keywordsearch.com comes in. But regardless of what you do, whether you use my tool or not, you want to make sure that you are targeting based on intent. So you could just use Google's pre-built audiences and say, oh, I want to go and target people who are in the market for marketing and advertising. But it's such a big bucket that you're just going to get the baseline results. What we like is what we call alpha AI targeting, using AI to get better results than the average, than the baseline that you would get if you just kind of set up a campaign. And the way you do that is by training the AI and who you're looking to reach, by going in and saying, I want to reach people who've recently searched for YouTube ads or how to grow my business or how to scale my business. Let's say you have a weight loss offer. People have looked up how to lose weight, best exercises at home, things along those lines. And even though YouTube has gone away from keyword targeting on YouTube, you can still do what's called a custom intent audience, somebody who has recently searched on Google or YouTube a particular keyword, and then you can target that person with an ad shortly after they've searched. And so that's one of the ways that you can go in and target. And that's an X factor. On the channel side, one big X factor that you need to have is knowing how to create trending content that's unique to you, right? And so there's two sides. You make something, it's kind of like finding that sweet spot. If you create something that's too unique and it's not really trending or something that a lot of people are searching for, you're not going to get as much traction. If you create the same thing everybody else is creating and it's trending, but everybody else is creating videos, it's also not going to get a lot of traction. You need to capitalize on trends and have your own unique spin. That's also why with keyword search, the software, we're actually rolling out an AI trend search to find all of the latest trends before anybody else with your YouTube videos, whether you're doing that for how to create channel content or you're looking to create ads. You want to be on top of the latest trends and have your unique style to address that. So that's what I recommend on the organic side as well.
And how do we drill down on some of that? Like as far as like finding those trends, I mean, is that built into your tool? And then as far as like the other side of it, like expressing our personality, do you recommend like we have like a swipe file or write this down, or like how do we like tap into both these lists?
Yeah. So in terms of really connecting with your personality and finding your style, it's really going out and creating content and then seeing, okay, what is resonating with people? And so it's, what type of content is unique to you that's resonating? What's a certain style? So my original YouTube channel, AppFind, scaled to, over 500,000 subscribers. That's how I got my start. I think we talked a little bit about that on the last podcast we did. And so we found that one of our styles is a complete beginner's guide to technology, right? So iPhone 15 comes out, iPhone 15 complete beginner's guide, right? So it's a full hour-long guide, and not a lot of people are doing that. There's everyone and their uncle is reviewing the latest iPhone, but only a few channels, and really pioneered by our channel, is doing this complete guide, A to Z, hour-long video. But it's a trending topic because the iPhone just came out, and I still have a team that manages, my original YouTube channel, AppFind. And so I was actually on a meeting with them earlier today, actually, because the iPhone's coming out tomorrow, about, hey, here's the content game plan for that. And it's really great. I've got a team that just, manages this channel in the background. But I was meeting with our lead reviewer, Justin, and the whole idea is we're capitalizing on the trend. The iPhone, just came out. People are going to be searching for it, but we're doing our unique style. We're not doing an iPhone 15 review because it doesn't make sense for us to do that. It's just going to get lost in the million of, maybe not million, but thousands and thousands of reviews. But there's going to be very few people that create a full beginner's guide, hour long, that release it same day that the iPhone comes out. And so if we're that first person, then those videos historically on that channel get millions of views with the previous ones. I think the iPhone 7 one that I had done back when I was running the channel, kind of reviewing on the channel, has over 7 million views now. And the reason for that is it's trending and it's also unique. And so you can think about that. In terms of where to find the trends, you heard it here first. We are going to be adding in an AI trend search into KeywordSearch.com. That's coming out likely next month. I do want to say, though, that software, sometimes things get delayed, but it is coming very soon. I was playing around with the beta that our CTO and our devs have been working on, and it is really exciting. I get really excited. It's going to also roll out to all keyword search people, so it's not an extra or anything like that. And it's going to be really exciting there. And the cool thing is it finds trends. So there's a couple different trends happening right now. We looked up, for instance, as an example for a potential client that might be selling exercise or something related to weight loss. You look it up, you can see it's found surging, weight loss, Ozempic, and some of these other things that are surging. And so imagine if you found out, okay, this is coming up here, this is getting really popular, a lot of people are talking about it, but you create a video with your spin. Here's why you should do this instead, or do this exercise instead, that's better than, this. And then that's going to actually rank because people are searching for it, right? And so there's an opportunity to capture trends, but create your own style video.
That is so much to think about, so many good ideas. And I mean, some of the lessons I'm getting from that is how important it is to just have someone always be thinking about your marketing platforms, right? If you have a YouTube channel and you want to maintain it, you want to grow it, you want it to always be expanding its reach, have that team that's always thinking about it. Because if you're only switching gears and thinking about it once every 2 weeks, that's not just constant thought about it. And then it's amazing to get that little insight about just them having a plan. And being like, the iPhone 15 comes out, let's have all this stuff ready to go. And it gives me flashbacks to like 25 years ago. And I used to know guys that would do just all kinds of like setting up tons of content, like back when Google was newish, and you could just be like, I'm going to set up 50 sites, and Google would be like, okay, we'll rank it all #1. And these dudes would like have Halloween content ready to go like in the summer. Like they would have things like ready, like far in advance. They wouldn't just make it up as they go along. And so this is just like so much cool stuff to think about as far as keywordsearch.com, as far as the things to be doing with our content, that blend of the trends plus our personality, and keeping in mind the audience and the intent, and that super cool feature that YouTube has now, where when someone is searching on YouTube or Google, then later they'll show them YouTube videos, kind of like a spooky, like quasi retargeting there. That's so cool. And then so in these last few minutes we're speaking here, Aleric, do you feel like sharing any like sort of like personal stuff, like when you've been growing your company? Have there been any like failures, stress on the way to the success path?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that you're asking that too. So, we've been really growing. We've been seeing a lot of growth, which is exciting. We got, Inc. 5000 number 60 fastest growing at 6,052% growth. But with that, there's obviously a lot of really exciting things. There's also challenges that come too. When you grow that fast, there's definitely challenges that happen. And, one thing that we, needed to do was really build out an operating, system. And we've got mentors that are helping us with that now. Very lucky to have an amazing COO on our team. And and so I think that there are times of stress and times of challenge like that. I think that, one thing that really comes to mind is we pivoted and moved around a little bit of some of our model in terms of, pricing and the way that we work with clients to make it better for clients, make it better for us. There was a time when we were selling more bigger packages all up front. And we found that actually, over time wasn't always the best for clients, wasn't the best for us. And it's better, we've made a shift over to more of a recurring revenue model, which clients love because they can pay us over time as they work with us. And we love because it creates more dependability and consistency within the business. It's always really exciting to see, a lot of, sales all in 1 month. But if you're only selling, one-off packages or, having people prepay for 6 months in advance, it's great when that check comes in, but then you have to just keep doing that. So it kind of creates a cycle. And so there were some challenges that came with that, with kind of measuring out, okay, what does this look like to be able to build something that doesn't feel like it goes up and down based on how many sales you get, right? So, a salesperson has, a bad day or a bad week, that can really change things, versus when it comes to more of a recurring revenue model, it smooths out the curves, and it's more actually treating it like software, but it's not software. This is, more of a consulting, approach, right? Where it's more consistently having consistent recurring revenue clients longer term. And so that was definitely a big learning lesson that I had. I think that there were some challenges with having more of a model of selling one-off, and especially put a lot of pressure on the sales team when it's better to be able just to enroll individual packages and have that be more of a recurring model, so that the company is kind of, all right, this is what our recurring is, here's if there's any churn, and then here's all the new people, and then here's how it grows from there, as opposed to, okay, this month we did this many sales, this month we did this many sales, and then, oh no, this month we did this many sales. So but it's like, and so it's different than recurring revenue. Yeah, you might have a slightly down month, but it won't be the same as if you have more of a dip in sales, or even if you go into a month like December, right, when maybe less people are signing up new deals, things like that. If you have recurring revenue, sure, there might be some people that drop off, but in general, you're going to still make a roughly similar, greater, or just slightly less recurring revenue amount than the previous month. It's more dependable revenue. You're starting each month with a floor already set instead of having to build up from nothing, right? And I think that was something that really did wear on our team a little bit after all of that growth is, once you scale up and you start hitting these very big months, if you're starting at zero every month because and not really zero, because obviously there's some residuals and things, but if it's not a recurring model where it's more consistent and you're selling only big packages, then it puts a lot of pressure on that side of the sales team. So I think that is something that was a big learning lesson for me, is it's very enticing to have people pay up front. And there are challenges with that model, especially at scale, and especially as you grow all of your overheads and all of that as well.
Interesting insights, more long-term thinking and a different sort of mindset. And that was always the joke with like Apple and with Microsoft, right? Like, remember like a bunch of years ago, they were saying that like a huge chunk of Microsoft's income came from Windows, but back before they like sort of owned like Bing and Facebook and all those other things. And then the joke was like, well, now they had to just keep like inventing a new version of Windows, come up with Windows XP or Windows Vista, just almost for the heck of it. Whereas now, like, with Microsoft and with Adobe, there's like this monthly fee, so they can kind of just like be more careful about the innovating and like work on the bugs and work on the UI instead of like trying to be like revolutionary every couple of years. They can just have people that like pay the subscription, and then they're used to it, they're trained for it. There's the piece of it in the budget. There's definitely a lot of upside to that kind of more like long-term thinking and growth. And so man, we covered so much ground today, from catching up and just thinking about your thought process and what you've built and we should be paying attention to. And as far as what you've created here, as far as like KeywordSearch.com and as far as AdOutreach, like what's the right size company or agency? Like, how does someone know if they're the right fit, if they're ready for you?
Yeah, great question. And that's actually something that we've gotten a lot of clarity on. So we work with a wide variety of different businesses. I think that the best way to look at it is if you already have a business that's doing at least six figures, then that's the type of client that we're able to work with. So we don't take people necessarily from that 0 to 1, so essentially that, $0 to $100,000 a year, just because you need to have some kind of budget on ad spend, even if you're a solo operation, you're a smaller business. But beyond that, those are companies that we work with. We have a wide variety of companies from $100,000 to $1 million a year. And then we've got a lot from $1 million to $10 million. And then we have some as well, in excess of that. And then also a few, $100 million plus companies as well that we work with. And so ultimately we span the range. I would say kind of the average is probably in that, maybe 500,000 to 5 to 10 million range is typically. But we also, of course, have a lot of clients that are smaller and a lot of clients that are bigger as well. But what I would say is you do need to have some degree of revenue within the business, if you're a smaller business, to have it make sense to start running those ads. And so typically we recommend allocating at least $5,000 a month to your overall kind of advertising strategy. And that's when we would recommend, diving in with us, but also just in general, right? Making sure that you have some money set aside if you're going to approach it at a higher caliber. If, you're dipping your toes in the water, then we've got a lot of free resources that you could check out. In terms of working with somebody like us, that's what we would recommend is, at least, over $10,000 a month in revenue if you're a smaller business. And of course, bigger businesses, there's that already baked in.
I love it. So 6-figure range, and then allocate $5,000 a month or so to your YouTube ads. And so that way you can grow, and that way you can recycle your profits and your successes, and you can kind of make things more predictable and on that uphill climb. And so keywordsearch.com to access that AI YouTube tool, and then AdOutreach.com. Are there any other calls to actions or like logical next steps after our conversation today?
Yeah, so I've got a free gift for everybody who is listening. I've got our 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF, walks you through step by step exactly how the process works. You can go to adoutreach.com/gift. adoutreach.com/gift, you'll get the full 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF.
Fantastic. AdOutreach.com/gift, and we'll see you there. And as we wrap up and wind down our conversation here, Aleric, do you have a favorite like quote, lesson, or moral, something to really leave us with something profound in our conversation? Quote, lesson, or moral, what do you have?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Awesome. So what I would love to say is I love this book here. This has really gotten me thinking about everything related to building a business for the long term, the recurring revenue model. It's The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Now, if you're familiar with Simon Sinek, you're probably familiar with, Start With Why, right? That's his most popular book. But I've actually been a fan of every book that he's written. But this is my favorite and probably one of my favorite books to date. It's The Infinite Game. And it actually talks a lot about Apple, talks a lot about companies, like Microsoft, companies that are going and looking to play the long game, but not just the long game. They even talk about playing the infinite game, right? How can you build a business that is designed to play that infinite game? And I think through reading this book, I really realized that, a lot of the stuff I was doing to build my business was getting us to where we were. And it wasn't also setting it up to be to have that consistency, dependability, scalability long term, even without me kind of driving forward the whole business, myself, and of course our amazing team. And so really reading this, very impactful. And just to kind of distill it down, it's really thinking about in business, there's finite games and there's infinite games. And people who are finite thinking, they play a game to win, right? And they say, okay, how do I win? Or how do I get this outcome? Or how do I do this? Or how do I beat this competitor? But to try to win acknowledges that you can lose and also acknowledges that there's an end goal and there's an end game. What this book talks about is how do you set yourself up so that there isn't an end goal and an end game other than the infinite continuation of your business idea, services, whatever it happens to be. And again, this isn't for everybody, right? Depends on the type of business you want to build. But for me, this business, I think, is in this book it has been incredibly impactful.
Inspiring. Well, it's a wonderful recommendation, The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. But then also what's even more important is adoutreach.com/gifts, and we will see you there. And thank you, Aleric, for just keeping us up to date and for your happiness, your positivity, your energy, your insights, your advice. I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming back.
Thanks so much, Robert.